gonna put the burrito.
It's like a shoey. You guys ever done a shoey?
No, what's a shoey?
Come on, guys. I'm not the only one who knows what a shoey is.
I think you might be.
Austin,
Really?
Wait, Austin, are you recording?
Do you know what a shoey is, Austin?
I am now.
Well, we're here tonight again for the Church Bites conversation. It's a conversation that values faith communities but doesn't shy away from the ways in which they bite and wrestles with takes on faith while dipping into local cuisine in a way that is faithfully for the fort.
Can't believe you don't have that memorized, Jeff.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
You know, I only do this every couple weeks, and I prepare very little. So,
Love it.
my name is Glenn.
And I'm Tyler.
I'm Christy.
Welcome to Church
remember
Bites. So the way we kick off every time is, again, by diving into
So
local cuisine in a way that is
excited.
faithfully
Cuisine.
for the fort. I'm trying to
Yes.
memorize it now, Christy. And
I'm just
tonight, Tyler
teasing.
brought us...
Casa.
And, you know, it was generous because you are always trying to figure out what kind of bizarre combination we can come with that we're all willing to eat.
Not easy.
That's so considerate of
yeah.
you.
Trying.
So what'd you bring us, Tyler?
We have the Fort Wayne famous Casa. Don't you? I would say it's Fort
so
Wayne famous.
good. Yes.
Like if you come to Fort Wayne,
You need to try
you're visiting
Casa.
somebody, they're going to take you to Casa.
That's
Casa.
where we.
Which
That's
casa
where
is
Sweetwater
always the
took
question.
us.
Yes.
Mexican casa or Italian casa?
This is the
Oh, I didn't know
Italian.
there was a
Yeah.
Mexican casa.
Yeah,
That's
this is.
news
There we
to
go.
me.
Now you know.
You didn't know there was a Mexican
No,
casa?
I've always been to the Italian.
Well, if you go to
casa.
the... Are you making fun of how I enunciate
Yeah, it is pretty
Italian?
funny. Please say
Just
more.
because I'm a farm boy?
Hey guys, Luke here. Before we get too far into the episode, I just wanted to take a minute to say thanks for joining us. We've had a lot of fun recording these episodes, but the reason we're doing this is so that we can engage in conversation with you as well. So we encourage you to do all of the usual things like subscribe, share this with a friend. You can comment below, and we'll try to engage with the comments there on a regular basis, or shoot us an email at churchbites@stjoemin.com. That's churchbites@stjoemin.com, and keep an eye out for live events here in Fort Wayne. Our goal is just to create a space, whether that's here online or in person, where we can have these conversations and dig deeper, and just talk about the things that are important to us about church, but also the reasons why we may struggle to engage, or just have a safe place to engage in a community that loves Jesus and is still sorting out the rest of it. So join us in any of those formats, and we thank you for being here.
Anyhow, if you go to any of the Italian casas, what you will find...
Do you order quesadillas?
Tina, eat your quesadilla. Eat your supper.
What will you find at the Italian casa?
Yes.
You'll find the Mexican casa within... you can see it.
Yeah.
Well,
Any
there's
of
several
them.
casas,
Yes.
though.
Yeah, but they're all...
Are you
trust
talking about
me.
the one with
Trust me.
Go-
on DuPont?
Yes.
There's a Mexican
I'm
casa
talking about
near
all of them.
DuPont.
It's
fancy.
Where's the Mexican one in DuPont?
There is one.
Where?
Close.
Are you a part of this podcast tonight?
She is tonight.
You don't have a mic. You gotta be quiet.
No, but really, where on DuPont is the Mexican casa? I need to know.
So, quick segue.
They have all
no
kinds
one's
of good...
answering
We
my
got the
question.
margarita.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was focused on the pizza.
That's fair.
And Austin has told us not to mention other restaurants.
Oh,
we are
shit.
mentioning
It's
like
okay.
6 other
It's the
places.
The
Casa.
Mexican casa is on the corner of DuPont and Coldwater.
It
Kroger,
has a fake palm
CVS,
tree.
Walgreens, approximately.
It's like
kind of
in
like
front
that.
of
That's
Hideout
Italian.
125.
No, the Mexican one.
There's a Mexican one. It has a palm tree.
Wait,
a
that's
fake
not
palm
that's
tree.
not a casa.
Trust me, Christy.
What is it?
Trust me. Just get out
I
your
don't know,
phone
but
and
I
look it
go
up.
there a lot.
So here we are.
It's a Mexican
We've
casa.
got the
My favorite Mexican restaurant.
I'm telling
the
you.
cauliflower
Ooh.
crust. This is Casa
I don't know
Grille
if I've had
on
a
Stellhorn
cauliflower.
Road.
The Italian one.
The Italian margarita pizza cauliflower crust with no meat. So
Oh,
everyone's happy.
I like this.
Or unhappy,
Are
depending
you
on how
taking
you
this
think
home
about
with
it.
you or no?
We will share it amongst friends.
Okay.
I'm good. I have
I mean,
a different
look at the
fast food
crust. I mean,
restaurant to
they've
take
got
home
the
with
wood
me.
fire pizza. I mean, they really do it.
And
right
this
there.
is...
Aren't
and
you supposed
thi-
to like do a?
I don't. Oh yeah.
Well,
On the
I will
back?
say it's been enough time that it's not... Like, when it comes fresh out of the oven, it's really superb.
yeah. It's been sitting a little bit.
I do love cauliflower.
Oh man, They put a
I
good
know.
portion of cheese on
Yeah.
it, too.
I know lots of people hate on like cauliflower crust and cauliflower rice and whatnot, but I like it. I do.
I wouldn't order this because I'd order crust.
You'd order real food.
I'd order real food.
Yeah.
All the gluten.
Which Casa has a
But
lot
this
of.
is amazing.
Yeah.
It is good. You really can't tell that it's cauliflower crust.
No, I wouldn't have known if you didn't tell me.
Yeah, that is pretty good. All right, you got to rate it.
This is solid. It's actually keeping all of us quiet.
I know. I know.
Yeah. That's the account. I think that's showing something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, it's got to be pretty close to a 10.
Yeah.
Now, they do have this
that was a
with
bubble.
pork on it, which would definitely be. I know it wouldn't be for you.
Gross.
That's why he didn't do it, I'm sure.
I
but,
know, that's so thoughtful.
But I would have preferred the pork, and I'm a little offended that you didn't get it. But anyway.
I did get the cauliflower.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
I'd have preferred gluten, so.
So none of us are happy.
But I
Great.
like this too.
There we go.
We're all equally unhappy.
I think.
Did you get the ASMR crisp there? Would it help, Austin, if I removed my shoes and was I did that?
No feet pics. Not with the food. It comes after.
My foot's a little
dessert.
too close to the food.
The tomato juice just dripped down my.
Yeah, it's, yeah. Uncooked. Oh my gosh.
It's so cinematic.
Wow.
I don't know what I just did there or where it went.
Graphic. I think I'm going to give it, as
Does anyone clean
cauliflower
this
crusted
room?
pizza goes,
I don't think
I think
so.
I'm going to give it a 8.8.
An 8.8.
The highest
8.8. I think
rating
it's
you've
that.
given? What'd you do, Shigs? Oh,
Definitely-
sorry, the other
Definitely
place.
on
that we had
as
one time.
cauliflower pizza goes, this is up there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going 9, I think. I'm mad.
I'm not friend for 5.
Yeah, well, great. Casa Grille, it's a Fort Wayne favorite, Fort Wayne famous, Fort Wayne institution,
Yes.
Casa Grille.
Check it out.
Yeah.
One slice?
Oh, well,
No, you. Now
That's
we're.
the end of the segment. We're on break.
He's like, can you think of a country without the letter R?
Without the letter
Spain.
Yeah.
R? No way.
There you go.
No way.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
That was a good one. Okay. Are we
Hope
ready
you
for
got that,
lukewarm
Austin.
takes? I think we're ready for lukewarm takes now that we've had a chance to cleanse all
guess.
palates after that. Lukewarm takes is when Luke brings us not a news story, not for a hot take, but a warm take, a lukewarm take.
I had
Yeah.
these printed out, but then I decided we'll just talk about it a little bit.
I do want to say that Luke was like, it's not a great story tonight. It's kind of a
That's all right.
bummer.
Setting the bar
gonna,
low.
yeah.
Oh, good. We
The
got
article's
better.
not that great,
Let's-
but the conversation
Yes.
that the article
Yeah.
will bring, I think, can
Thanks
be good.
for bringing
So
your
You got to manage the
confidence.
expectations.
the pressure's on you guys, not on me now.
Okay.
Okay.
So just thought I'd
Like
throw
it.
that out there.
Yeah.
So I guess a setup question: do we know what quiet quitting is?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Heard of this?
Yes, we've
Yeah.
heard of this. Yes.
Very
So
aware.
the headline for the article says, "Farewell Quiet Quitting. 2025 could be the year of revenge quitting." So quiet
like
quitting
it.
is going out of style, which for those who don't, quiet quitting is like you don't quit, you just do the bare minimum and like just kind of
Okay,
skate
you
by.
still do your job.
Until they fix the glitch and like get rid of you or find somebody else. But revenge quitting is just what it sounds like. You go out in style, like
Yeah.
to really stick it to the employer. So it sounds like some 4% of full-time employees are planning to revenge quit this year. Hybrid workers are more likely to make the move with 7%.
What's a
planning.
hybrid worker?
So you're like not a remote worker or an in the office, but you do a little
okay.
bit of both.
Okay.
But the categories where people are most likely to do this are marketing and advertising, IT and tech, media and entertainment.
How would a media and entertainment person?
On the air? You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what?
I feel like we need some like video inspiration of people like quitting like in great fashion. Huh. Sorry, what was the question?
So I guess the questions are, if you had a business, would you rather have your staff quiet quit or revenge quit? And if you were going to quit, which do you have any like, hey, I would do
I've had
this,
staff
or-
show up for like not a month. And I guess I'm a pushover because they come back to work and everything's like normal again. I don't know.
Isn't that
So-
like The Office, the movie, where it's like, oh, did you quit? And he's like, no. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, wait. I'm just not going anymore.
I think that was a Seinfeld
Not
too.
going
Was it? I'm just
anymore.
I think,
not going.
I think it was a Seinfeld where George actually did a revenge quit, and then he came in the next day like nothing had
Like
happened
nothing
because he went home and he's like,
happened.
"I made a
That's
huge
right.
mistake. I can't pay my bills."
yeah.
yeah. So what was the question, Luke?
So if you were a boss, would you rather have people quiet quit or revenge quit? Hypothetically,
Yeah.
Glenn, as you look around the room, and then
Tell them.
which one would you be more likely to do?
Okay, here's the deal. Quiet quitting typically just means you're still doing your job. You're just not going above and beyond. So I think I would take a quiet quitter over a revenge quitter
know.
because they're still doing their job.
I think there are levels though of quiet quitting.
Say more.
I think there are there's an aspect of people who are actively trying to do as little as possible.
Like that's just their normal setting, though.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like that person is disengaged and toxic to the environment. So I'd rather just one big shebang.
I feel
Just
like
get them
quiet
out, get
quitters
somebody in who
are-
wants to be there. I don't know.
I feel like they're usually in a toxic environment though, and that's why people.
Yes,
quiet
that is definitely a common component of
like
both.
so.
Yeah.
Do you think that has something to do with the categories, the marketing and
100%.
advertising, the IT and tech? Like
Those
that
are high
toxic.
burnout categories, really
Well,
high
and
burnout.
also, I mean, those are you got to think of the types of people that I think are drawn to those professions. I could totally see them like revenge quitting. Like they want the show. They're going out with a bang, you know. I don't know. Media, marketing people.
tech people.
Yeah, the tech is a little strange. Maybe the revenge quitting is like they're taking the servers down with
You
them.
know,
That's
that-
exactly.
what I mean?
You know, I
That's
know what
got
it
it.
was. He worked at a dinosaur park, and he did that.
Wait,
No, that was a movie. Never mind. Yeah.
hold on.
Hold on. Newman. Another Seinfeld
I
reference.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't relate to this because
Because you've never quit.
I've never quit. Yes, not yet. I mean,
I've resigned, but I've never just been like, I'm not coming in tomorrow. Peace.
you know, Amy, when we were in college, she decided she had one of her first jobs was her first job was counting bugs at a lab in Purdue. She was like
That's
13 or 14. Bug.
Counting bugs.
But then she went on to work at the local park, and she drove the little train that the kids rode on in the park. Like that was her
Did she
job.
wear a little hat?
You'd have to
little
ask her. I
conductor
don't
hat?
know. I don't know.
Are there pictures?
I wish. I have never seen any.
Okay.
But anyway, we were dating, maybe engaged, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go quit. I'm just tired of doing this." And she went and quit, and her boss was like, "Yeah, you just can't quit yet." And she was like, "Okay."
You're like, wait, that's not how quitting works.
Yeah, right. And so she worked another several weeks
Oh
because
my
he was
gosh.
like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, we can't let you go right now." And she was
Oh
like,
man.
"Okay."
Like, all right,
So-
we'll just stick it out.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Which I mean, that
Nice.
like that has worked in my favor in our marriage. That
Yeah. Yeah.
Just gotta stick
willingness
it out.
willingness to
Just
stick
stick it
things out.
I did
has
have
really
a
helped
boyfriend
her.
try to break up with me once, and I said no.
Okay.
I was like, no.
He's
His
like,
name
at least
is-
can you loosen the handcuffs?
Oh, no, it turns out he was cheating on me, and that's why he was trying to break
okay.
up with me. But I was like, no, I'm good for you. That's not happening.
Did you know that at the time though when you
Oh
were like?
gosh, no! I would have been like, bye.
Yeah. Okay.
You can't break
When
up
we
with
did
me.
break-
I'm breaking up with
When
you.
I found out and broke up with
I'm
him,
not
he was
fired, I
like,
can't-
"That's why if you don't let me break up with you back in January." I'm like, "We're bringing really?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
my fault again?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's my fault again. I really need a drink."
I think we need a guest appearance.
So I do want to say there's a
boyfriend. Come on in.
yeah. Behind curtain number
Really?
2.
That's so weird.
It's a long story.
He's one of your best friends.
No, he's married to my best friend.
He's married to your best friend.
Do you still
was
see
she the
each
one
other?
he was?
Oh.
Okay.
I feel like we want to know more.
I was in the wedding. I was the maid of honor.
Nice.
It's a long
Weirder
story.
things
Was he in
have
the wedding too?
happened.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, he was.
He was there.
Dumb question. Segue.
Okay, but we're talking about quiet quitting rage. quitting.
Okay, quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So-
would be more. I don't.
There's a
I'm
clergy
quitter.
version of this, or there's a church
Oh.
version. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, they tell you don't do this, but I have known people who like their last sermon at a church is like, "I have some things to get off my chest about you people," and they say, don't do that. Don't do that.
Right.
Just don't show up.
Just be
yeah.
just be classy.
Show up. Who's
Just be
gonna
classy.
appreciate
Be classy.
it?
You know, but I have heard of and
Yeah.
known of people who like their last sermon is like, "You all are a bunch of racist." Anyway, like
calling like individual people out.
I know,
Or,
and
like like
say that
more-
far. Yeah,
See, that would be great.
I don't
like,
think they're calling-
Steve and you. You know what I mean? Like specifically, like pointing people out.
I mean, I have had a church where I've really wanted to do the
Yeah.
you people
Yeah, that's
have
right.
to acknowledge that this is what's
Nineveh.
happening.
whatever.
Yeah, the earth
Yeah.
is going to open and swallow you if you're not
That's right.
careful. But no, that is
So
a,
that would
is
be a clergy rage quit.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
but
like
most,
it.
actually
Forget
most
you.
clergy in the system I'm in, they quiet quit because they just tell their superintendent that I don't want to be here anymore, and then they get the move and they go to the church and say, well, the bishop moved me and whatever, but they don't really say actually
Gotcha.
it's because of this
They're
stuff.
avoiding it.
Yeah, and so the
Certain
bishop
way.
and cabinet, the superintendents, get tons of
Like, why'd you take the
blame.
pastor?
Yeah, they always take our pastors, and it's like no pastor has the courage to say, I wanted more money, or I wanted to be in a better location, or
Yeah.
you all are terrible.
All three.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
All three. Yeah,
All three of
sometimes.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a clergy version of it.
Nice.
I think on staff, like as a boss, I think I would prefer somebody who loud quit, who revenge quit, because then it's over.
Tear off the Band-Aid.
Yeah,
kind of
and
thing.
there's some peace about that, and
Yeah.
like when you've got a quiet quitter, that's something that then I have to deal with.
That's true.
and there's a lot more risk of like,
Yeah.
but like, why are you so? Why do we like so and so and whatever?
Performance plans. and
Yeah.
Severance.
So
and,
anybody on
nobody needs
staff
that.
who dares to listen to this, none of them will, but if they should, just please rage, revenge.
Yeah,
quit.
like set fire to your car. Too much?
Egg the
Too far.
turd.
I mean,
Back it
I
off
feel
just a
like
couple
I feel
of
like if I
steps.
said yes, it would potentially cause my insurance to not pay.
Yeah.
Fair.
But
Okay.
But if the insurance did pay, it might put me one step closer to having a Wagoneer.
Ooh.
So
Well, what about personally? Would you be more apt to rage quit than to quiet quit?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Without hesitation.
I could see you being I would be a quiet quitter.
I feel like I would need like a good 6 months to plan too. It wouldn't be a
You're
spur
just
of the
gonna
moment
keep
thing.
going.
It's got to be magnificent.
It would have to be magnificent. Yeah,
Wow.
really have to.
I mean, if
Yeah. Just to really think
You're a
through all the
teacher. How
details,
would
I don't
you
know.
rage
I'm just
quit?
thinking though, like
Bye,
for-
kids.
like
No,
it-
just take all the kids with me. Like get a bus.
That's kidnapping.
Not across state lines.
You're gonna get arrested. For
Like,
this.
like do it like at a field trip. You know, just leave them at the zoo. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I would never do that. That would be unsafe.
be terrible. He's absolutely
I was
kidding.
kidding.
We all in this room
But
understand. he's kidding.
hypothetically, that would be
It would
pretty
be
great.
something like
Yeah, or like a wilderness trip.
No. Like what you would need to do is at the like Fort Wayne Community Schools, like
Yeah.
convocation of all the staff and stuff. One of those
Oh.
things.
Stand
Just go
up.
down and Dr. Daniel's getting ready to speak, and you say,
Yeah.
"Excuse me."
Yeah,
And you like
hold
come
on,
in,
give me
Grab
that.
the mic.
and then
Go
be
do
like,
the Kanye West and just go
Yeah,
up and
yeah.
take the mic. and
No,
You're great, but
I'm
we all know
electrified.
Beyonce deserves to be here instead of you. That kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You should use
Wendy
the exact
Robinson,
words.
Yeah.
You'd like quote the
Beyonce
people would be like,
deserves to-
"What? Beyonce? Is she even here?"
Beyonce's here.
Yeah.
And what's hilarious
That
to me
would be
about
funny.
that imagined situation,
Yeah.
I love to do stuff like I love to imagine ridiculous scenarios
It's great.
like that. Is that either you would never be able to work in anywhere in Fort Wayne again?
Yeah.
Like that's option
Sure.
one,
Yeah.
or give it a couple months and they really need a teacher and they call you.
And they'd be like, "It wasn't that bad."
Yeah, well, we really need somebody over
Yeah.
at
Just
whatever.
get
Yeah.
over
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Or you'd get a promotion instantly. They'd be like, "You know what? You're a real straight
Cut
shooter."
out for downtown.
yeah. Like, okay.
Sure, why not? Speaking of imagined scenarios, thanks for getting us attached to fictional characters this Sunday.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah,
this
yeah.
Nancy with this, it was this beautiful story.
Well,
it's like I made it up.
Yeah.
Like,
I told you I made it up.
It's
Afterwards.
realistic fiction.
it was so sad.
Could be real. Hypothetically.
It could be. It could be.
In the realm of possibility.
those who are not present will just have to listen
We'll have
and
to
make a
listen to the
judgment.
sermon and know who we're talking about. It's a
Yeah,
beautiful
I mean, I
story.
gave a homiletical fiction, but I
You
said
did
it was. I didn't-
afterwards. Yes, you
But I
did.
also clarified,
It was after.
Christy. I also clarified that it's the kind of story
That
we've
could be true, sure.
and it is true because we've seen it, we've lived it, we've
Yeah.
experienced it hundreds of times, so thousands.
I
of
was
times.
real attentive.
See, this is why people don't come
That's
to
all
church.
I'm
It was a
saying.
good story. What? Because the preacher just lies.
I have never actually straight up quit. I've given my resignation. So I guess quiet quit. I would say I've quiet quit before. I did. So I've quit because of somebody once. I like 99.9% of people on this earth. Like, I just am generally, that's my attunement. I will like you till you give me a reason not to. And she was horrible to work with, just horrid. And at one point, she was yelling at me because I used the wrong envelope to send an invoice, and I used the bigger one, and because I didn't want to fold it because it was over $100,000 invoice, like receipt. So I was like, I'm going to put it in a nice one, send it off. And she came in lecturing me, and I had less than a week left. And I was like, well, you're not going to have to worry about it much longer. And I literally did the, I tried to get out of everything. And that
Nice.
the last month, I was like, I'm done with it. So I guess, yeah, quiet quitting for sure.
It's definitely the premeditated nature that, the people that are planning this for months in advance, it's a little bit scary. I think of rage quitting and revenge quitting would be different. Like revenge is you thought about this to get there.
Yeah.
So
I just have to say, I want to give props to anybody who does have the courage to go out and rage or revenge quit, like in a spectacular fashion,
non-violent way.
In a non-violent way, in a spectacular fashion. A little extra showmanship with it goes a long way.
Give the razzmatazz.
A little razzmatazz.
Yeah.
I want to give people props for that because it's also extremely honest, right?
That's true.
It's also coming to the point where you say, I'm done with this.
In your face, yeah.
You suck, the end.
Yeah, right.
I did read about a developer that went somewhere, got hired, fixed a bug, and then quit the day after because the bug was just bothering them on their website. So he got hired. So he could fix it.
What's another word? Like on the website, some sort of Twitch
Something
or something.
that wasn't working.
I don't know what the words are.
A website is... No, I'm just kidding.
Is that on the World Wide Web?
World Wide Web.
https://
I can find it now, but I do still have to replace my AOL CD every 6 months. So, on that note, I think we're ready to shift into our conversation part.
Can
we
we
need a
pause
break?
for like 2 seconds? Sorry. I'm going to put the burrito.
It's like a shoey. You guys ever done a shoey?
No, what's a shoey?
Come on, guys. I'm not the only one who knows what a shoey is.
I think
You are
might
indeed.
be.
Austin, wait, Austin, are you recording this?
Do you know what a shoey is, Austin?
I am now.
Apparently, it's really popular in Australia and like New Zealand, but you pour a beer into a shoe and you drink it out of a shoe. It's called a shoey.
Why?
Man stuff. I don't know.
Stuff. I feel like I've heard of people drinking out of a boot before.
Yeah.
shoeys are often done by athletes, musicians, and other celebrities to celebrate victories or podium finishes.
No.
How does a
Shoey.
musician have
A spare shoe?
finish?
I guess it's
Like an
instead
encore.
of breaking a guitar.
Yeah, I guess.
Bam. Just shoey it.
Harry Styles, the singer, has done a shoey on stage in Australia.
See, it's an Australian thing.
Australia where it's
I think it's a way to like, I don't know.
No, thank you.
It's cultural appropriation.
Well, all I can say is it
Drinking beer
makes
out
a
of a
lot
shoe
more
is
sense of
cultural
why
appropriation.
Bluey was beer bonging out of one of his dad's Nikes.
You know, I am not about that.
Her Nikes. Bluey's a girl. I always get that confused because
I feel like
She's
they did that
blue.
on purpose.
I didn't know Bluey was a girl.
Exactly.
I
Doesn't
watched a lot
matter.
of
It's
Bluey.
a talking sheepdog.
No,
okay.
it doesn't matter. I
you've
just
never
didn't
seen
know.
Bluey.
I know.
After
It
all
is
the
pretty
times
good.
we
It
have
is
said,
pretty
it
good.
is a great
It is
show.
a pretty good show.
You and Bandit have a lot alike.
Do we?
A lot in like.
Yeah.
What is
Bandit
wrong with
or
my?
banjo?
I think I just had a
Wait,
TI.
which one's Bandit?
Glitch.
Yeah.
Which one's Bandit?
Bandit's the dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like how he just like casually tells them no for things. They're like, "Dad, come on, let's do something." And he'll be like, "No, I don't think so." I don't know.
Well, but he's not though. I think so. The whole this, and we'll get into the.
Bluey
All right,
War.
let's unpack
But
it.
kind of the premise of it is that Chili is who's the mom.
Her name's Chili.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Is
sure
that a
about
girl?
that.
Nice.
Australian name?
They're dogs.
It is
They're
for
also-
dogs.
they're Australian
Two
healers.
who are
I
cartoons.
understand.
Bandit and Chili healer.
Bandit
and their children Bluey and
Banjo.
Shoey.
Banjo.
Oh, Banjo. Bluey and Shoey.
And their little niece Muffin, their cousin Muffin. Anyway, yeah, the premise is that Chili is kind of more the working mom, and that Bandit also has a job, but he's kind of got more of the parental role. Like, I feel like he's an archaeologist or something. Like, he's
Really?
like a... He's got some sort of like...
yeah.
There's that one episode where they kind of let you in on like what his work is because he's like trying to work as the kids come in and play.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that like he's more responsible for a lot of the parental interaction.
I guess when you think about it, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's trying to give like a
Shout out dads.
I think so. It's
Dads.
a really positive take, and I think it's a take on like contemporary millennial dadhood as opposed to like more different generational models of fatherhood. So
Yeah. Al Bundy.
exactly, Homer Simpson.
Yeah, that
this is
sort
not
of
that.
cultural
This
not
is-
that.
swing. Yes.
This is fun dad who plays make believe and takes the time and and also for what it's worth, mom who also can engage in the fun but has like a career and like it's just kind of like a little bit of a reversal
Yeah.
of the stereotypical traditional
Yeah.
role but in a positive way.
and
so
a blue dog who's a girl.
and a blue dog is a
You know,
girl,
Blue
and so
used
I
to be
always
the
tempted.
girl.
I know,
But
but
it
not
used to
now. I
be.
mean, come on. Can we really? It used to win. Like
why-
Little House on the Prairie.
Why are colors gendered? That's the
But
stupidest
be-
thing in the
but
world.
why
it's
not?
another,
Okay.
It's not
But why
another
not?
cartoon.
Okay,
We're
live
ready.
here.
We're ready. We're primed.
Okay,
The pump is
we're
primed.
Right, let's go.
So tonight, what we're thinking about, and the topic for conversation are thinking about nuns, duns, and non-denoms. Like those are the kind of where did people go from
Yeah.
a lot of the traditional religious participation in the United States. And actually, this isn't a U.S. thing only. It's a Western phenomenon. It's actually a lot worse in other countries. I guess if that's the word you want to use, it's more pronounced in other countries. So we're thinking about that. We're thinking really about the technical term for that is secularity. And when the society becomes...
secularity.
What did you think I said?
Secularity.
It is pretty sucky.
Secularity is what we are invoking here on
succulents.
with our succulents.
With our secularity.
Secularity spelled SECULARITY.
Larity.
Anyway, I just had something out of a shoe a little bit ago. I know I'm
Feeling better.
That's not going to make any sense if Austin cuts
no,
out.
he's going to cut out that part, and it's not going to make sense to anybody. But that's okay because none of this makes sense to anybody
right.
who's watching.
Here
it.
we are, secularity.
They're watching it just for the occasional foot shot. That's all. Anyway, so yeah, secularity is the thing, and it's really marked by kind of three things. One is three cultural phenomenons. One is that there are fewer people overall that are religious adherents. This is just true in every tradition, and in the United States. Now, fewer than 50% of people describe themselves as affiliated with a religious tradition, which is the first time in modern American life that that's happened when they've surveyed people. It happened in 2019 or 2020 that we went below that 50% part. So one is there's fewer people actually attending, connected with religious worship services. Another aspect of it is that the public conversations around faith tend to evaporate totally or become far less nuanced. So we can talk about that perhaps. That's another example of secularity. And a third example would be just people not expecting like God to show up in everyday life. But that's all kind of like abstract. And I actually think that there are better ways to like get at the issue. And it really, for me, is to think about youth group. So was everybody here in youth group?
I was
Yeah.
in two.
2 youth groups.
Yeah, one had 3 people in it.
At the same
So,
time?
At the same time.
Wow.
Thursday nights and Sunday nights.
Thursday night and Sunday night. So one had 3 people. The other one was
Large. It was JC Body Shop.
okay.
So,
Yeah,
hundreds.
that is hundreds. Yeah, in that youth group. So I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. That's why I said it.
Yeah, give me the reference. Yes, thank you. Yeah, that is a really large youth group. You are part of a pretty large youth group.
Yeah, pretty big. I don't know.
How many were there most of the time, like in an average gathering?
50, 40. We'll say 40 on a good night.
Yeah, on a good
On a
night.
good night, 40.
Are we getting closer?
Probably.
On a summer
Yeah.
night, you might have 20.
Yeah,
Yeah, somewhere in there.
yeah.
That's a good size, though.
Yeah, and I think my youth group probably was similar at a much smaller church, but we bussed kids in from other neighborhoods and stuff, and so like the core group was maybe 10 or 15. of like church kids.
Yeah.
We had a lot bigger group that just came in. And, you know, the era we were all in youth group was like the heyday of youth group. Like,
Oh, was it?
Oh, culturally speaking, yes. Like
Okay.
churches put their money into a youth pastor. That was like the prime.
Mine wasn't paid.
The churches that did have
when
the
we only had 3
funds
kids.
for additional staff or anything, it was
That's
like the
where it
money
was
went
going,
into
yeah.
that direction. And in fact, there's like a lot of interesting like church business studies. It's interesting to me that like people have pivoted away from those investments towards more technology, web,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But anyway, in that era, it was like the heyday of youth group. And if you think about it, it was the heyday of like a lot of Christian music, contemporary
Choir
Christian
the
music
Fire.
recording.
Ooh, love me some Acquire the Fire.
Yeah, and all of those things. Those were like the things coming on the scene.
Yeah.
So it was really a
Winter
prime
Jam
moment, not
started
only
out.
just for youth group, but for like ministries that supported youth group or businesses that supported youth group models. Anyway, so we come out of the heyday of youth group, and we come also out of kind of like the end of the stability of American mainline and evangelical Christianity numerically. So like coming up into about 2010, like the numbers are kind of continuing to increase or flatline most places.
Okay.
And then basically from that point on, it was like a kind of a steady decline, and then COVID was like that.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of, there's some recovery in attendance numbers, but anyway, so if you think back to your youth group experience, I think it's a great moment to go back to and then say, like, where are the folks who were with you in youth group now? Because chances are they're not in worship. Or if they are, they're either nuns, duns, or non-denoms, right?
When you say nuns, you mean
Yeah.
N-O-N-E or N-U-N?
Yes.
Because I have a friend that's an N-U-N.
Yeah. Most of them did not become nuns.
She did.
Yes. So
She became a nun.
Nice.
she became a part of, she's got into the habit.
She is in the habit.
Yeah,
Indeed.
most
Sister
of the-
So when I
Petra.
say that,
Shout
I mean
out to Sister
people
Petra.
who on a
She's awesome.
sociological survey they would say, "What are you affiliated with a religious tradition?" They would say none.
Sure.
That doesn't mean they don't believe in something.
Just not affiliated
I'm
with
just
the
not
religious-
affiliated with any religious tradition, so I'm a nun. There are some people who say I was, but I'm not, and I won't be again. So that would be like duns.
Dealing.
Like I'm just done with it,
Been there, done that.
and I'm not going back. And sometimes those folks really are like. I mean, there's been harm, there's been hurt, there's something about it that's like,
Sure.
no, I will not do that again. And then the non-denoms, not even non-denominational churches like across the board are growing, but one of the places that there can be growth sometimes observed is that it seems like a lot of folks have shifted out of other traditions into a non-denominational tradition in some places.
So I have a question about non-denominational, because many non-denominationals are actually affiliated with a denomination, but like to call themselves
That's a great point. And actually, in some of the commentary about non-denoms, like this is a critique that's been brought up when people say I'm not a part of a denomination. Like even in the United Methodist Church, many of our like really large churches, there's no cross and flame, there's no description
know.
of their affiliation. They kind of don't want people to know. Like it's if it's in a
It's
membership
hidden.
class, it's like we happen to be United Methodist, but don't pay attention to that. And that's not unique.
Yeah.
Some
I had to dig for when we were looking at churches around Fort Wayne. There were some that I ended up digging into.
I can think of several that come to mind that they give no denominational information up front, but in fact, some of them that come to mind as non-denoms in Fort Wayne are denominational churches. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was my
And a lot of them,
question.
I mean, most of them are definitely historically have an affiliation with a denomination.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe have stepped away from it or whatever. But yeah. What's the question?
So think about your youth group. Where are people now? And I mean, my wager is that probably almost everybody is a nun, dun, or non-denom. Like maybe not everybody, but a lot.
Yeah.
See, mine aren't. They're all still in, the ones I knew
Yeah.
are still in faith traditions and or pastors. But for me, and we can come back to this, but it's actually, I have to go to Bible college to get there. But my youth group folks still are.
Of the three.
Of the three, and then the ones I was close to at JC Body Shop as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I bet
more.
even in that bigger group, because I go
Oh,
back.
I'm sure there are some, but just people I knew.
I want
to
to make sure anybody who's watching is aware. We've said it before, but like you and I were in the same denominational situation growing up, and so we were, and that was in the same regional area, and so there was interaction at like youth events and stuff where I would have some awareness of what was going on there, and like amongst youth that we were like growing up with somewhat at the same time.
Yeah, because we're close in age.
Yeah, so I just bet that that's true even of JC Body Shop people, that there's a ton of...
I would have bet, I think some body shop.
That's what they called it. They had ended up
it's still
building a
called
building.
That. Still JC Body Shop.
Oh, so that's like the brand of the youth ministry.
Yeah.
It's
Gotcha.
a
They didn't meet
ministry
at a body
of College
shop
Wesleyan Church
or teach
in
you
Marion,
how
Indiana.
to fix
No.
vehicles
No.
or anything. Okay, all right.
It's Jesus Christ Body Shop. I don't know. I never heard the full name, but it was always referred to as JC Body
Gotcha.
Shop. I'm sure of the people that I went with, but the ones that I knew, I would say, either non-denom or still in a faith community somewhere.
Yeah, I would say I can think of a couple who are non-denom, but I would say most are either none or done.
Mm-hmm.
With 2 or 3 that are still actively involved in a faith community.
Well, and with
or at
those,
least in their denomination.
yeah, and with those that are in a denomination, the feeling for me is that there has been fragmentation even there. Like some that went in a more progressive direction, some that like it's not like everybody stayed in one place, but that it's kind of like out like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really what we're talking about, though, tonight, is that this kind of particular moment in our cultural history and awareness of being like, we were here, we were at this point where there was like a high purchase and buy-in to American Christianity, and where there was an emphasis on youth culture and all of this kind of stuff. And we were the beneficiaries of that, I guess you could say. Yeah. And then it has evaporated, and it's not there. And people have kind of our generation, have kind of scattered in every direction. So why?
Indeed. It's a big question.
It is a big question. I think there is something to be said of the model itself. I think there was, not calling out any individual churches or programs, but I think the model itself a lot of times would focus on fun and pizza and sort of superficial avenues towards, and the church in a lot of ways became just like a community center, and it was maybe Jesus light.
Yeah.
And, so people weren't as...
We gave the social aspect without the invitation to service or sacrifice or
Right.
those kind of things
Yeah.
in some
and
cases.
so I think, in a lot of ways, it was easy to give up because there wasn't as much spiritual depth.
Well, there's no bridge after that. Like you go, it's
I
fun.
was going to say this.
And then
the
if you go to
bridge is
college, you
missing.
get like a college
college
version of that.
ministries.
Right.
Yeah, which is basically...
Yeah.
Amy was trying to describe the Wesley Foundation where we met to our kids, and she's like, it's basically like youth group, but for college kids, which is pretty much true.
Yeah. But statistically, most people
most
didn't
people
go
don't
to
get
a
that.
Christian university or college.
Well, that was Purdue University.
and didn't
but,
have
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that or
right.
didn't partake in something like that, so they just sort of fell off.
Yeah.
I think what's more interesting to me is like now that people aren't re-engaging or didn't see enough value in it that they're choosing not to re-engage when they have their own kids, I think is more indicative of, they didn't necessarily get value out of it, or, that they aren't, that there isn't more interest in returning.
Mm-hmm. What are you thinking, Christy?
Well, I'm not sure that it's really exactly along the lines, so I didn't want to just shift. But I am thinking one of the things I think is really interesting. One, like I said, most of the people in the youth groups that I knew are still in, but I know lots and lots of people from Bible college who are not.
Yeah.
But one of the things I find interesting when I think about high school and keeping up on Facebook just with acquaintances and I graduated with 90 people, so I don't go to reunions because I'm still in touch with the people I want to see, and everyone else is on Facebook. And like the meanest, nastiest, most stuck up people that'd rather give you a finger than pray for you in the hallway, are now the ones that are like, Jesus and family. And I'm just like, who are you?
So
like,
they went.
Those are the ones that went into church after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like
the
mean girls.
The mean girls. And I'm like,
Jesus called them
fascinated,
Pharisees.
Like, how did that? Like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
And I'm interested there because I feel for them it tends to be like a cultural thing. Like I grew up,
like
and
almost
this
a
is what
trad
you
wife
do.
adjacent.
I don't know that. Well, some of them are that close, but yeah. So for me, that's fascinating. And then for the people that I know that are none and dones. And technically, most of the people I know are non-denoms because Christian churches and churches of Christ are non-denominational.
People that you went to Bible college with, yeah.
Yeah, and it's non-denominational, and it's the Stone Campbell movement. Like, it absolutely is. It's just... But anyway, we had to have a whole semester of history. So I'm like, okay. Of, like, history of the Stone Campbell movement.
Yeah,
like,
so
you're a denomination
right,
if you have an
Yeah.
entire...
If you have a movement.
If you have a whole
Yeah.
class on it, it's...
What do you get when you mix holy water and castor oil? A religious movement. Back to you, Christy.
Anyway, I think for me personally, it wasn't a Jesus light situation. It wasn't that there was... I do think that the bridge that you talked about is an issue for people that didn't go to like a religious school or a Bible college or want to be in ministry. There wasn't a whole lot of like plugins for young adults at that time, I feel, or at least places I went.
Well, and for single people.
And for single people.
Which I think is a big part of this, too, in the bridge moment.
Yeah.
Like when you go from, unless you're one of those folks that got married in youth group.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that is that like churches just don't do a great job a lot of the time of really giving a place and priority and recognition to single folks.
Yeah.
Well, I think culturally, I think millennials were very
You're the kids. You're still kids. We still get called kids.
fragmented. Some chose directly to career, some chose college, some chose marriage, some chose, or lived with their parents a lot longer than other generations ever had. So there wasn't necessarily a singular pathway.
Well, that's a great point. How could the church accommodate when you've got a
lots of
huge group that are
different-
living in their parents' basements, when you've got and there were a lot of
Like
economic reasons for that for a lot of people
Right.
too. Huge student loans and then really tight job market.
Yeah.
2008 to 2012, you
Yeah.
know.
That's why I was a server with a college degree for 3 years.
Yeah, well, you weren't the only one.
I know. And people
Yeah.
would be like, you should go to school. I'm like, thanks, I have a degree. But I
would you like a refill on your diet?
Would you like a refill? But
Yeah.
for most people that I know, it's much more serious
Yeah.
situations. It's much more thought out. It's much more feeling betrayed. And I do tend to know for the nuns and dones, they do tend to be more progressive people. And so it's a lot of like, you taught me to love the immigrant, and now I'm hearing you spew all this hatred. You taught me to love people, and now you taught me this, and you're showing me the exact opposite. There was a huge surge of, I would say, nun and dones that I knew. I would say leading up to, but even especially like around Donald Trump, around COVID, where the evangelical church seemed in some of them to really align with that and kind of make it their identity. And people were like, I can't be a part of this if this is what we're talking about. Like, this is not what Jesus taught to me. This is not.
Well, and Christy, just to be clear, what you're referring to, I think, is not like that, there were Christians who voted for Trump, but that there were some folks who just so ideologically fused their faith with whatever the ideology of Trumpism is,
Right.
that they became indistinguishable to them. And it was like they couldn't tell. And there were churches where this happened, where it was like
whole
you couldn't,
churches.
yeah, where you couldn't, or significant chunks of it, where they just couldn't tell where one started and the other stopped, and that's what turned people off. It's not that they
just someone voted.
yeah,
for it, but
right.
Like, yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, and so I've thought about this a little bit, and I've not experienced that in the churches I've been in, but the churches I've been in have been middle of the road churches where like the priority is on, we're all going to think different. And so I have heard that my grandmother was telling me that her congregation has a significant chunk of people who have kind of fused the ideologies together, and she thinks they're good people, but she's like, I don't understand what's happening, really.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how they can fuse their trust in a person
Sure.
with their faith in the way they have, and not feel that that's some sort of idolatry at this point.
And this is somebody who's been through the election cycle
right.
before, right?
A couple.
Yeah.
A couple
You
of
know,
them.
I think
Yeah, my grandma's 90.
Right,
and
exactly.
she's like, I don't know what
Grandma
they're
would
thinking.
probably
Yeah.
say, like,
Before.
this is different than what we've
Yeah.
experienced before.
Yeah, this does not
Right.
feel like Bush to caucus 88. This
Yeah,
does not.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It has a different,
and
different
like-
feel.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because when the ideology fuses with the faith in this way, it's like, oh, you voted different than I do.
Like, no.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not even like, are you a Christian, or like, what are you? It's like, you might be the enemy.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, you're like in league with the Antichrist. Like,
Right.
that's the kind of
Right.
way this ends
Yeah,
up
yeah,
playing out.
Yeah.
But then you get like your Charlie Kirks and your Matt Walshes who like proudly Christian nationalists. And it's like, yeah. And
Well, and
it's
I think
like,
what you're talking about again is the ideology. It's
yeah,
not.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
the
yeah.
support of a candidate, but
it's the
it's trying to create a
of-
framework that really that doesn't leave a lot of room for dissent. And so,
Right.
anytime we do that in a congregation, people are going to be turned off by that, and
Yeah.
especially when it seems to, like, in some ways maybe compete with like kind of core values that they were
right.
taught from the OG belief system.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Well, and all those groups become more insular, right?
Yeah.
Because people, dissenting voices go, and you know, on both sides, I think there's no room for discussion, and they become more and more insular and more
mean, it's a
tribal,
horseshoe.
more tribal, and
Well,
I think it makes it hard.
one thing I had happen during the 2020-ish time frame was we had in the church I was serving some folks who were more progressive, and the church was very middle of the road, and there came a point that this couple and another couple were like, yeah, they quiet quit. And I was like, hey, what's going on? And the church was not Trumpy. The church was like, there were people there who had that conviction, but
Yeah.
they had just been processing the racial dialogues. They'd been processing how, religion had been complicit in the oppression of people in our culture across the centuries. And they were trying to process how the church was trying to navigate the COVID situation, which in our context was like, we were trying to be very conscientious, but we were also trying to keep going,
Right.
and keep moving in some form and fashion, and gather people as we could safely. But anyway, all this was like, they just, I think, started to feel like, are we contributing to something that is doing more harm than good, even though we love Jesus? And so they just kind of quiet quit the church. And I was like, how do you expect it to get better? How do you, like, if that's
not
your
working
version
from
of
the
better,
inside. Yeah.
how do you expect the church, like, they would say, well, I love these people, I love Jesus, but I just don't know if I want to be a part of this thing that I'm not, it's kind of got problematic angles. Mm-hmm. And I think even there's almost like a demand for a sort of purity that the church can't give. And I'm not trying to both sides it. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm just
no.
saying, like, I think we've moved through a time where we have definitely sorted ourselves, and people have, I think, very justifiably been turned off when ideology, and there are other ideologies too that get
Sure.
fused with the Christian
That's
faith,
just
and
the one
people
that
are
I've heard.
no, and it's
Because it was
definitely the most
treason.
prolific.
Yeah.
It's
And
definitely
the one I understand. I do.
yeah, and I've seen it too. So anyway, I think those things fragment us, and they do turn people off. And good grief, I'm real curious what it's going to look like in 20 or 30 years when we kind of settle up, historically speaking, and look back on the moment. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't imagine we're navigating the moment in a way that in 20 or 30 years there's going to be more people like, yeah, Christians did awesome at that. They got
We
it all
nailed
right.
it, yeah.
Nailed it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't think we are. So I think we're probably heading for more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, that's the downside of growth at all cost church doing church in that way, because I think it incentivizes, well, what is going to lead to the most possible growth, and not necessarily seeking for truth.
Yeah, so you're talking about if you're kind of seeker sensitive and trying to provide.
Yeah, I don't know.
Created.
Well, I guess I'm trying to put my finger on, well, why does it seem like the more conservative, more evangelical, non-denominational churches are the ones that are showing growth and no one else is? Mm-hmm. So you know what I mean? And like, well, where does that come from?
Well,
or
some of the,
where
and
does
I
that
want to
stem
qualify
from?
this a little bit, because I think some of the statistics would show, like the Southern Baptist Convention, which is a denomination, but other than that fits what you just described, is losing like literally hundreds of thousands of members the last several years every year. So they're just like, you can hear the whistle as it's falling through the air. Mm-hmm. And there was a time 20 years ago that the numbers really said, if you're a more conservative denomination, you're not losing members. If you're a more liberal denomination, you're losing members at a rapid rate. And then, like, again, 2010, 2015, it was happening before the pandemic. Everybody really is. The trick is, I think the non-denom is able to say, we're just dealing with local things. We're not really going to engage in all the, sometimes, we're not going to engage in all the cultural conversations. So, some of the...
It's like a cop-out, in a way.
I mean, you could say that.
I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I'm saying they're choosing not to engage in that.
Yeah, I mean, that's my track
or
most of the time around here, right? Is like, we're going to focus on what we're doing here, and we're not going to worry about everything else going on out. I mean, that's not really true. What I mean by that is, we are going to focus on the ministry we're doing here in our context, and we're not going to deal with issues necessarily unless we meet them in our ministry context and relationships. Now, there are cultural and national issues that we are dealing with in our ministry and relational context. But anyway, so, but I think that's the non-denom, maybe you could say cop-out, is that people can, where a denomination has to deal with national issues on some level, that independent church in, Monkey's Eye, Kentucky or whatever, or Fort Wayne, Indiana or whatever the place is, doesn't have to until it comes into their neighborhood and until it's right there.
Well, those churches don't have to, but I would say, I mean, they choose to maybe more often.
It just depends. I don't know. I think it depends on the track. So there are churches, I think even here in Fort Wayne, that you would go into that are large non-denoms, and they would be very averse to culture issues, that they're going to want to talk to you about what they would consider salvation issues. They're going to want to talk to you about the gospel, and that's the focus. And they don't, no scent of political anything. And there are large churches in Fort Wayne that you're going to go in and you're going to hear an ideology that's fused with Christianity, and that is like, this is what's wrong with the country, and this is what we got to turn back to. And that, so I think it just depends on that church, like why people have selected for it. I do think I sent some information from a great resource, which is graphsaboutreligion.com or something. Just Google Graphs About Religion. It'll come up.
On the World Wide Web.
On the World Wide Web. You need one of those
It's out
CDs
there.
that AOL will mail you. You put it in your CD-ROM drive.
The kids are not going to know what you're talking about.
It's amazing, really.
Well, hey, you know what? I know what a CD-ROM drive is, and I feel like at some point my dad thought maybe it was a place to put a coffee cup. I don't know. Like, oh, there's cup holders.
That's progress.
Built-in cup holder.
It's a snack
about
for
that?
your
It keeps
computer.
going away.
Yeah, why does it fold in? Anyway, Graphs About Religion, there's a guy on there who just does great explorations of the data on this stuff.
Yeah.
And the non-denoms actually pop up in, like, the assumption he made, and then he tests on there, is like, well, you'd think that non-denoms are popping up in places where there's, like, young, upwardly mobile people. And then you, like, scatter plot, like, you basically, I don't know what it all is. Right? Like, but you run it against
Math stuff.
Yeah, math stuff. But you run it against the demographics of the zip codes. It is basically what he did. And it actually ends up showing that, no, the fastest non-denominational growth typically is happening in zip codes that are on average older.
And wealthier.
Ooh. And yeah, well, and then when
By
you,
accident?
I don't think so, because actually there's one other thing, which is of the people who are still church connected and millennials who are church connected, like the likeliest person in the United States to be regularly attending church actually fits the demographics in our age group of the people in this room, because it's college-educated people who are still going to church.
Yeah, I saw that. That's interesting.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, I was always like, don't let a good college education ruin you.
Yeah.
It'll ruin your faith. It'll ruin your work ethic.
Yeah.
And yet, the likeliest places, and if you were to plant a church now, the place you would, like the church plant people would tell you to go, is go to those neighborhoods that are growing, building new houses, and have a lot of upwardly mobile college-educated people, because they're going to be the likeliest to connect with and be seeking out a congregation and a church. And honestly, look around the room here.
Yeah.
Everybody in here has a college degree.
Yeah. But it just sounds gross when you put it like that. I don't know.
Why does it sound
like
gross?
it sounds icky. It sounds
Yeah, I
like
think it kind of is. Let's
you
go
know?
into that.
It sounds very exploitative, I guess, like to statistically isolate people that the gospel is worthy for, I guess.
Oh, it's
You
the
know what I mean?
opposite
Right.
of the gospel.
Took a
Right.
church
If you're
planting
talking-
class, did you?
Yeah, but like this. So this is a debate we have within our annual conference. Is always
Yeah.
like, do we try and invest money to start churches in communities where there is need?
Yeah.
Or do we try to invest money in communities that are growing
Right.
and where the population's increasing?
Right.
And you're kind of like,
What everybody else is doing in planting churches.
where it
yeah.
seems to work,
Yeah.
and you'll grow a congregation that can fund ministry other places. So
Right.
it's not like a real easy. So I see
Yeah.
your point on the
Yeah.
icky part. I think it's icky in another direction, which is it's kind of evidence that the church has not worked for people without college educations, because they're not showing up.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I'm curious what you think.
I think it's probably because it's full of people with college education who are looking down on them, or maybe view them as second-class citizens.
I think people
I don't know.
think that's true, but it's not usually true. I don't think most college. I think there are college
Yeah.
educated people that look down on people without it, but I think there's a little bit of gonna say Napoleon syndrome there, where it's like people without college degrees think that
Gotcha.
people with college degrees
Yeah.
are looking down on them. I'm not saying it never happens,
Yeah.
but I don't think
Well, I think there's an inaccessibility
much.
to those churches over there in those wealthy neighborhoods. That is the perception that they will be otherized, even though they probably won't.
I wonder if the currency of, I think the currency of, you think about some of the things we've named that have caused people to step away
Yeah.
here tonight, or things that we haven't named that certainly have, when there's abuse or other things like
Sure.
that happen. I think what has, in a lot of cases, been disrupted is trust. And so I think the currency of faith communities, you don't have to have it, because there are folks who just think the muscle memory of their faith practice is, we just keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it. But I think on some degree it's trust. And I think if you think about where that comes from, it's like, do things basically work for me or not? And so I think if you live in a society where, I'm talking big picture, like the basic numbers, my wonderment is if as a society we don't have trust eroding so rapidly, but like the places the iceberg hasn't melted yet are the places where the culture and the society is still working for people. And who it's working for still, at least up till now, has been folks with a college degree, just a little bit more. Like, it's not great for everybody all the time, everywhere, but like it's just working a little better for those folks. There's a little more trust, there's a little more gas in the tank that gives them the capacity, maybe the time and bandwidth also.
Yeah.
To show up to religious community.
I was going to say a lot of people work Sunday mornings. When I was a server, that was
Yeah.
prohibitive.
Yeah.
There was no other, when there wasn't another service to go to.
So I think time is a factor, but I really kind of wonder
Yeah.
if
Also, I don't know.
trust isn't a piece of it.
I think when you come out of a youth group model that is focused on consumerism and giving, there's an expectation of receiving and receiving. And when it's just not convenient anymore, it's just easier to find something else to do. I don't think it's really, I think most of the time it's not as that thought out. I think it's
So
easy to
interesting, 'cause
just.
that's
Oh, no, I
not
don't think
true
any of
for
us are thinking
anybody
this
that
out.
I know.
Yeah.
I
would
think
agree with
it's
that.
I think it's easier to just kind of let it trickle away. Statistically, I think there's a lot more people in that category than there are people who are like really struggling with the issues or are struggling with church hurt and think. Do those things happen? Absolutely. Am I downplaying that? No, not at all. But I think statistically, there's probably more people who are fitting in the category of like, I don't know, it's just easier to sleep in and go to brunch.
No, nobody.
Well, and that there's
category.
no.
Literally, no. Honestly, I don't know anyone.
So
in
this
there.
is,
and I'm not
let's
trying to
mark
say
down
you're
the
not-
moment. This is a moment I'm going to agree with Tyler,
Yeah,
I
well,
think,
I'm
and
not
not
saying
Kristen.
this, Jared. I'm not even trying to say
Yeah,
you're wrong.
but you're
I'm
just
saying
like, you're looking for
in my
like the
experience,
string.
that's
Yeah.
not true.
Yeah.
But that's probably because of
Right.
the people that I've been surrounded by.
Well, I think anybody who's going to Bible college and
Well,
you know what I
right,
mean,
but I'm
like
even thinking
they're
about my
seriously
friends.
invested into
Yeah,
that,
right.
Their own social network
Right.
and things like that, and they maybe have to have a lot better reason to not show up.
Sure.
People are counting their heads more so than just the average person.
Can I make an observation, which is I think that though Luke undersold his lukewarm take tonight, I think
Yeah,
it's actually
it
I think
worked
it's
out
actually really
perfectly for
astute
this.
because we've kind of named this before. It might depend on the part of the tradition you're coming out of. So if you're coming from a more conservative and evangelical or maybe even fundamentalist brand, you might have actually seen more what was the term for the flamboyant
Rage quit.
rage quit. You might see the more rage quit. Like, I'm just done with it. I'm tired of it. I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like, I like the people. I like Jesus, but good God, folks, knock it off. You know, like that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Whereas if you're from more the like cultural main line, like the backbone of what was American religion for 150 years, and it's just the cultural habit, and then you like realize that, oh, I can sleep in on Sunday and play afternoon golf game or video games or whatever, and my life's
Yeah.
still okay,
Yeah.
and I don't need it, then I think that's the quiet quit, right?
Yeah. That's a good point.
It may depend on the part of the tradition we're in.
Yeah.
Now, there have been people also in that mainline tradition who have rage quit against the more progressive streams sometimes that are like, I just can't take all this woke whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that may be a part of
Yeah.
it.
That's an interesting connection.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I actually think it's kind of like any big phenomenon. There's not like one thing,
Right.
obviously. Like there's dozens of things. It's probably a lot of the things we've talked about here. It's probably, I really do think the socioeconomic piece has to be
Yeah.
a piece. Like we have to talk about that. Why is it that we are not sharing the gospel effectively across economic lines?
So, what
Like-
do you think it would take to gain the trust of, say, non-college educated folks?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, and I'm enough of an elitist. I'm not sure I'm the right person to answer the question. I do think. Well, here, let me say this. I think that we have lost in much of the tradition a real missional imagination, where we look at our community and really ask, what does it take to translate the gospel to the people around us? We have a lot of folks in every religious tradition who are big on exegeting scripture. Sure. Let's explain scripture. But we don't have a lot of folks who really, with love, can exegete the community they're sent to serve and look around and say, who needs the gospel here? And I don't know how we get that back in a big way. Like, the only thing I can say is go to some local place and sit and watch the people and just ask in your heart, inquire of the Lord in that place. Like, what would we have to do for these folks to be able to hear the good news? How would we have to translate it and say it? And that is something I do. Like the coffee shop I go to 4 times a week to get my wife a latte at, I'll stand there and honestly, it's kind of grim, folks, because I don't think the church is capable of adapting the way it speaks and the way it acts to convey the timeless truth of the good news of forgiveness and mercy and reconciliation of God in a way that these folks can hear it. I know it can be done. I just am not confident that the people who have been called to the moment can do it without extraordinary grace, which actually I guess is the business we're in, and hoping that God can do those kind of things if we can't. But it's a far bridge, I think. If you just try it, just sit someplace that you go and just think, how would we have to?
Yeah, there are so many things stacked up against us, I think, and not just us, but I think culturally we're just so disconnected from each other. It's sad. I think there's a lot of hopelessness out there, and just people struggling, but quietly. And I think for the people who have an answer to that in the gospel, it's sad that we seem more reclusive than we do seem missional.
Yeah, and defensive at times, and
has to be this certain way or this certain interpretation or something.
Yeah. I think that's well said. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge. One of the reasons a polar bear is my spirit animal. Curious what all your spirit animals are, but it's one of the reasons that the polar bear is my spirit animal, because it's like an animal from a different world, almost like a climate that's disappearing. And when we have these kind of conversations, that's the way I feel. I feel like the climate for which I was created, or in which I was created, is disappearing, and the climate is changing. And so it's like, well, how am I, who was built for another time, a farm boy in Christendom in rural Indiana, right? Like, how do I end up figuring out how to jump from iceberg to iceberg in the world that's emerging?
Yeah.
And not just do it for my own sake to survive, but do it in a way that helps whatever other species are out here in this emerging ecosystem get connected to the thing that unites us all together, which is that love of God, which creates, redeems, restores, and puts before us a future that's bigger than our past. So
polar bears are also one of the only animals that will actively hunt humans.
True, they will.
So
that's
there's
why
that.
Svalbard has to carry a gun.
Yeah.
That's a good word.
Yeah.
That's a good
What
word,
is your spirit
Tyler.
animal? Do you have a spirit animal? I was going to say a burrito and a big gulp, maybe. I don't know.
love that.
That's not an animal.
Yeah.
We could make it one.
What would
I don't
eat
know.
that? A raccoon?
I don't know. I have a half-eaten burrito in my
I actually
shoe
call
right
myself
now.
a raccoon all the time. I do,
Trash panda?
especially at work. Yeah.
Nice.
Because I bang
Sorry,
on things till
that
they
was
break or they
we should have
fix.
just ended. I don't know why I said that.
By the way, I just want to
Dang
mention
it, I
I know
ruined it.
that Napoleon
Just cut
wasn't
me
that
out
short
there
for
and we'll
his
just-
time. He wasn't that much. He was pretty average height. I just want to make sure that's known.
If anyone's fact-checking
Because
us.
I called it the Napoleon
Tyler, your
syndrome.
spirit animal, and we wrap up.
Okay. I don't know.
Something that would also eat a burrito
And a big gulp.
and a big gulp.
What would do a shoey?
What would do a shoey?
Another raccoon.
I don't know, like a gibbon? Like one of those with like the ones with the big noses.
No,
you ever seen
that's
those?
a proboscis monkey.
Do you know with the
That's
things?
a proboscis monkey.
And they
That's
just
not
let
a gibbon.
their
Gibbons have tiny faces.
their butts hang
I guess
out.
we're going to have to think about it. Thanks, folks. Good
Next week's
conversation.
episode.
Here we go.
There we go.
You're the worst at closing episode.
Oh, that was so bad.
I agree.
My whole thing.
Glenn set up a close.
I know. And I was like,
Well, thanks for joining us. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We want to continue the conversation with all of you. You can do it in those fashions or through our email at churchbites@stjoemin.com. That's churchbites@stjoemin.com. And we're going to be hosting live events here in Fort Wayne, so look into the description for the details there so we can continue the conversation about all the things we love about the church and faith, as well as some of the ways in which it bites. Thanks for being here.